It's called the theoretical hierarchy in the development of an athlete, and it kind of just is like, where do we start? Well, the base of the pyramid is nutrition. So in his mind, in our philosophy of what CrossFit is, nutrition should really be the first thing that you get in line before you even start working out. Now, a lot of us do that backwards. I did. I was like, oh yeah, like I can just work out harder and eat whatever I want and it'll be awesome. Like I'll do CrossFit, I'll run on top of that, and it's like I can eat shit and it'll be cool. Well, I hate to tell you, that does not work so well. You'll see benefits, you'll see gains by doing CrossFit for a while, but if you want to really kind of optimize that stuff, you have to get your nutrition in line. So the base of this is nutrition. And then after nutrition was in line, he said, okay, then we should start working on metabolic conditioning. So our conditioning, we do a lot of that stuff here. So Metcon. And then once you have that metabolic base, you can build on that by starting to talk about just moving your body. It's gymnastics. We do a lot of that stuff. Then we start adding in things like barbells and external objects with weightlifting and throwing. And then the very top is sport, right? So all these things are things you want to do to support your sport. And sport should really mean like anything you do outside the gym. Your three big categories of foods, okay? The predominant source of calories in your foods. So give me, who knows the three macronutrients? Protein. Yep, protein's one. What else? Carbohydrates and fat. Yep. So those are your macronutrients. And the basic idea is that when you eat a meal, you should have some of all three of those. You should have some protein, you should have some carbohydrate, and you should have some fat in your meal. And that's every meal. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. All right, so let's start with the list of quality foods. So step number one would be to try to eat as many real whole foods as you can. So things that in the grocery store that are around the perimeter, things that have an expiration date, things that don't have a list of ingredients in them. So CrossFit has this, in the same article I referenced, this, it's called World Class Fitness in 100 Words. And the first bit of it is a diet prescription. It starts off with eat meat, which you guys already mentioned, veggies, nuts and seeds. Some of you have probably heard this, if not memorized it. What else? Yep, some fruit. Dead on. Little starch. And no sugar. So let's pause there for a second. Meat, we already talked about it, is a protein, predominantly protein. Veggies are carbohydrates. Nuts and seeds are fat. So in terms of this list, there's really no restrictions. Eat some meats, eat some veggies, eat some nuts and seeds, or whatever fat sources you're choosing. But then you see where it says some fruit. So what the heck does that mean? Really, it just means eat less fruit than you do vegetable. It's super simple. It's a carbohydrate source, but it's a higher carbohydrate source, has a higher carbohydrate content than vegetables. That's why there's a little bit of a limiter. And then little starch, eat less starch than you do fruit. That's things like your potatoes, if you're eating rice, things like that. Also carbohydrate source. And then it says no sugar, and this is the freaking hard part, right? How many of you have done something like this, like trying to take processed food out of your diet or cut down on sugar or cut out sugar? It sucks, does it not? It sucks. Like it sucks for the first couple weeks, I'm not gonna lie to you. It can be pretty brutal on people. But what this means is no added sugar. So there's sugars in starches, there's sugars in fruits, there's sugars in vegetables and nuts and seeds even, but no added sugar. And the main deal with this is just to avoid processed foods. So that list that we were talking about, Tamara, it's like, what's a meat? Well, these are real whole foods. What's a vegetable? Well, we listed some of those there. Again, no ingredient list. So really, that's step one.